3. Oh.
What's good? We're off and rolling on the eve of NFL kickoff. We got Big D in the house with a gross hat on. Should have offset
What up,
it
man?
with the Niners hat. But I do think the Seahawks are going to be very formidable this year. I don't like the coaching change.
Yes.
But today we're going to hit you with a little week 1 preview. Talk about the games that are coming up, talk what the lines are. We're going to hit you with a little bit of Underdog's Pick'em entries as well. We've recently tuned up with the fine folks over there at Underdog. You can use promo code FFD if you want to sign up, get yourself a little sign-up bonus. So I'm excited, man. We are on the eve of Chiefs Ravens. We're going to push that one to the back of the show. And then we're going to hit you with all of the week 1 preview matchups, thoughts, what we like, what we don't like about week 1. And then before we get rolling here, I just want to let you know what the in-season schedule is going to be like. We will be live on Patreon Sunday nights, recapping the day's action. And then on Monday nights on YouTube for your pleasure. And then we also plan on covering the eligible incoming class all season long with Austin Abbott over there. So we're going to be exciting. We're going to be really, really, really exciting this offseason.
So exciting. All the excitement just for you. Just for your pleasure.
Just for your pleasure. So right off the rip, we're going to go to the Sunday 1 o'clock games. Got a drink. What up, Jay Mike? How you doing? Well, I think we'll manage to have some fun tonight. That's what tonight's about. Not going to be too serious. We're, what could be said at this point fantasy wise, right? We're rearing and ready to go. So we're going to come at it from a bit more of a football perspective and just talk about, what we're going to see week 1. And then we're going to try to learn, it's the toughest week to really handicap all that much. Some people would say it's the best week, but you kind of know you don't know what you don't know here. And then, even the information you get from week 1 to week 4 might not be, telling really much of a story, right?
For real. Yeah.
That's why we love this league so much, the ebb and the flow and the up and the down. So
the in and the out.
Well, let's go right over week 1, Jacksonville, Miami, little Florida matchup in honor of J Mike over there. I know he's a Jags guy.
They got the Jags on.
They got Jags plus 3.5. It's in Miami. So Dolphins minus 3.5 there. Initial thoughts on that kickoff with Tua with a new contract, T-Law with a new contract. What are your thoughts on that game? How do you see it going? Are you excited about that one?
I am excited about that one. Just right out of the gates, we've got with this particular matchup, it's going to be exciting. I mean, they've done, what is that, 21 personnel or whatever, the fast personnel. I mean, Miami's got more pieces that make it even faster. Like they're just, like I always, like when I run, it looks like a toddler running downhill getting ready to fall, right? But they run, it's like super silky smooth, like
right.
I don't know, like a bullet train or whatever. But yeah, I think Jacksonville's in an interesting spot. Doug Peterson is kind of on that precipice of what is he, right? What are we gonna do here? What's going on, yo? And Miami, I think, I don't know, man. It feels like every year, their biggest issue is just injuries, right? I mean, I hate to blame the injury bug for them, but like it feels like attrition is their problem. But week 1, baby, everybody's fired up, we're ready to go, and I think the game is going to be what did you say the line was over the over under?
It's Dolphins at home minus 3.5.
Minus 3.5, yeah. So I think I would take the Dolphins in that one. I think I believe they're going to be formidable this year. I believe in those offensive pieces. I think Tua's gone through his transition, and he's a brand new boy. He's a brand new man now. So I feel like I feel like it's one of those games where if Miami's really clicking, I could see it getting away from the Jaguars pretty fast and steady. But Jags got some. They've got some pieces on that side too. On the not just on the offensive side, but on the defensive side too. You know, they have the best Josh Allen in the league. I'm just kidding. But they do have Josh Allen over there, and on the defensive side, and so they have the ability to, you know, they can, we'll say, withstand the blaze of what the Dolphins can create. So what are
Yeah.
your thoughts? Are you finning out? What's going on over there?
Well, I mean, we did a hot takes episode, and there seems to be a lot of Trevor Lawrence MVP chatter all of a sudden, and that was one of our hot takes. Now I've seen a lot of people taking that because the odds are really good on it.
Yeah.
I do kind of like, you know, where the Jags are. They started off hot this past year, and then kind of tapered off with a ton of injuries. Trevor was banged up for the first time in his career, really missed a game. The O-line wasn't good, also banged up. And then on the counter side, Miami's O-line was injured. Their defense was very injured. They clearly weren't feeling Fangio on the defensive side of ball. The players, anyway, they weren't interested in that. They've all kind of come out and said, or at least some have come out and said, you know, how much better and more energized they are with the new guy. But this is really, I guess you could say it's, you know, Jacksonville was really good at the beginning of the season last year as well. But this is Miami's time to shine, right? This is the time of year where they come out and, you know, J Mike just said they could Jags, you know, always Jags, baby, but whispers Miami might score 40. This is what Miami does. And Miami's going to come out and be prepared. And that offense is going to be humming right away. So, yeah, you know, it may be a track meet. And if Jacksonville loses this one, I'm not discouraged about the Jags kind of moving forward here.
Yeah, it's a tough week one matchup for them.
Right.
So. And it's tough for Miami, too. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, Jacksonville isn't, at least I believe, they're not a cupcake I mean, they haven't been a cupcake since Urban Meyer left, but you know, they're not a cupcake this year, and they're going to put up, you know, they're going to be prepared enough, I think, to make it a ball game. But it's going to be a fun one. You know, it'll be fun to watch the rookies, you know, what kind of action they get. BTJ getting in there, showing us who's boss, you know, make sure Achan is crack-a-lacking. What's some let's see, what is he at?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be, you know, I think it could legitimately be a, you know, a high 30s kind of track meet, and like you said, tough matchup to come out. We got Tyreek Hill out here on Underdog, higher or lower than 97.5 yards, 7 receptions. So, you know, clearly a big day expected for him. 17.45 fantasy points, which is his half point PPR on Underdog here.
Yeah.
So, you know, those are big boy numbers, but Tyreek is, you know, one of the best fantasy receivers in the league, one of the best receivers in the league, you know, kind of point blank period there. So,
yeah.
You know, there wasn't a ton in this game as far as the Underdog Pick'ems there that I got super excited about. Travis Etienne, over 2.5 catches was kind of, or higher than 2.5 catches was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
14.5 rushing attempts was kind of interesting as well. I would say if the Jaguars are going to win this game, that number's got to be like 20. You know, attempts for ETN, and I'm assuming the reason that number is where it is because they're expecting the same thing that we're expecting, right? A high flying game where you're not able to, you know, get in there and control the line of scrimmage and run the ball.
Right.
So the over under on that game is 49 right now on scores and odds, and that's where we're pulling lines from. So, you know, they're expecting 50 in that one. So
yeah. With
you know,
let's see, what was it? The line was 3.5 and 50, so 40, 47, 48 implied for Miami. Is that
potentially your guy Achan over there with 52.5 yards rushing, higher or lower?
That could be one play.
Right. That's the intriguing part. You know, you go through these and you want to click all the hires because it's a whole lot more fun. And in actuality, the lowers are the you know, probably the more winning side of things.
Right. The smarter way to play
a lot of times. But, you know, week one, there certainly is some room for error of hey, the you know, the projections got it wrong, and they might take a week or two for them to figure those things out. So I think there probably is some edge in week one. It's just there's a lot of unknown as well.
And it's the first time that all the starters are playing, at once for most of these teams, and there's typically defense wins early, I guess you could say, and then wins late. But early on in the season, there can be some offensive inefficiency with timing and some of those kind of things. But there can also be broken coverages and big plays, and so man, it's just so fun. It's such a fun time of the year when it's when you're still fresh and excited. I think I saw Gabe was 37.5 total yards.
I kind of like this Evan Ingram lower than 5 receptions.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a usage adjustment there for sure with Brian Thomas there and a healthy Christian Kirk
and a healthy Christian Kirk.
And Gabe Davis taken up, and then I also would, not from a betting perspective, but I'm also interested just to see what they do with ETN. One of my hot takes this year was Ken Walker was going to outperform ETN. And part of that is just, we get to that later with the Seattle offense. But from the Jacksonville side, I feel like they want to ride on ETN, but they need to also keep them a little bit, keep them a little healthier. So Bigsby hopefully will get some play, and we'll see. But
yeah, they have Christian Kirk.
Oh, here we go. I'm listening. My ears are up.
On the higher end, they like higher than 4.5 receptions, but they're not giving you the good odds on that one. And the lower is a spicy play, 1.1 times on the Christian Kirk lower. So they're also expecting Christian Kirk to potentially be on the higher side of things. So I like that. As long as Christian, if as long as he can be healthy, he's there was a calf injury there that could hamper if it being hot and a long track meet-ish type of game. Maybe that could come into play. But like you said, the Achane kind of stuff where you have an explosive player, 78.5 yards rushing and receiving yards combined.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds juicy for you, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What's the
I started talking in South Dakota. That's how excited I was.
Mostert on the rushing TD, which it was very high level last year for him. Half point on the rushing, or half rushing touchdown, or rushing and reception TD combined lower, only at 0.8 there. So they like the higher on that one, and that's what the odds would kind of tell you. So that's the first matchup we're hitting there. You ready to move on?
Yeah, let's go.
I would say I'd leave Miami there in that one to wrap that up.
Yeah, I think the home team is a smart play. It's gonna be a fun one, and I think Jacksonville has a shot, but if all things go according to plan, Miami should win that one. Not going away per se, but definitely win it.
Yeah, this Baywatch Mitch, he likes it over the higher of Ingram reception yards.
Okay.
All right.
I believe him. He's probably got AI, an AI configured stat bot going for him. He's a smart dude, so I'll listen to Baywatch Mitch.
Gibbs in a late first for Breece Hall, PPR superflex. He said late first. LOL. I'm keeping Breece.
Gibbs in a late first 4. Yeah. If 4 is I'm getting Breece, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Breece on that side.
Yeah. Exactly.
I just where Breece could be at, and what we saw out of Breece last year with just shambles of an offense around him. I think if you can get competent QB play and competent O-line play, Breece is going to be on a CMC type, those OG running back type levels. I believe he's so explosive. He's so good in the pass game. And if you could just have a competent offense, there's not much I would, if you get Breece, I'll take Breece, baby.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. Let's move on. Let's go Arizona, Buffalo. So we're about to see Kyler in his first full action starting the season here. Obviously, we saw him a little bit at the end of last season. So that one's in Buffalo. Buffalo coming in -6.5 there. Initial thoughts on that game, Big D?
Initial thoughts. I think that one's an interesting one. I don't know. The Cardinals always scare me. Maybe it's just because I'm, always deep dive in the NFC West. But the Cardinals are a tough out, man. They're a tough out. They kind of proved that last year. They've got new weapons. Yeah, I mean Buffalo is Buffalo, right? We're not. I'm not taking anything away from Buffalo, but I just kind of have a feeling that this one might be a little closer than meets the eye. So I think if it's six, uh, Buffalo's given 6.5, right? So I think I would take Cards plus the points.
Yeah, you like the Cards plus the points, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if that Bills offense was really steady, but I don't know if I would call it explosive from last year at the end of the year once
Mhm.
the OC took over, towards the end. And that's not to say I don't think Buffalo will win this one. I just think that the Cardinals have the weapons now to keep up, right? They have the weapons to stay around. Will they? That's a big question mark, but
Yeah.
I believe Kyler Murray is he's posed for a non-injury year. He's posed for coming back to glory, and people going, "Oh yeah, we should draft him a little higher."
Mhm.
And you just look around and you see what the Cardinals have added to that offense, and they already had a decent start with the defensive side of the ball. And I don't know, I think Josh Allen is now we're talking about the real Josh Allen. Well, not the real Josh Allen, the offensive Josh Allen, right? But um, I don't know. And I could be completely wrong on this, but just my gut feels like Josh Allen always starts out a little slower than what you would expect him to start out with. But who knows? So hopefully he'll come out and just be completely on fire. I've got a lot of Buffalo fans, and I've got a lot of Cardinal fans that I don't like. So I'm rooting for Buffalo, but I think if I'm putting money on the line, I'm going Cardinals plus the points on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna. The Cards are interesting because they were such a feisty team last year, right? They were much better than anticipated,
Yeah.
fighting and staying in games. Um, just weren't good enough to hang on late. And the bringing up where the Bills offense is going to kind of be this year with um, Joe. I'm drawing a blank on the OC right now. The switch that they made from um, drawing a blank right now, but they switched to the OC, like you mentioned, Big D,
Brady.
Joe Brady, yeah. Um, and I think that's a good call of not being explosive, but they seem to be less dependent on one thing and
Hmm.
more of a distribution type of an offense. So that leans a little interesting. I'd still probably go Bills finding a way late to cover that spread. Um, and again, not an indictment on the Cards and where they're going to be this year. I think the Cards are going to be a tough out, and they were a tough out last year. They just, like I said, weren't good enough to put together 4 quarters. And you're hoping you take that step this year. Gannon being a defensive guy, the defense should be taking a step forward. And I think you mentioned in the weapons, there's a much better system in place weapons wise. So 6.5 is a fun play for you there for the Cards. But I'm still gonna ride with the Bills coming out and getting a win and at home early by a touchdown. So Baywatch Mitch says no Milano. I will say that I do think the Bills defense may take a little bit of a step back this year. They lost some pieces. Milano's
Yeah.
already banged up. Ed Oliver has looked good. The D line I think will be good, but they've lost safety and corners, and now Milano's injured. So
Yeah, they have
maybe
some secondary question marks. We'll say that defensive line is good, but that's where I kind of feel like if Murray is healthy and he's got his wheels back, he's got his feet back, right? Like I think he can make this game interesting, and I do believe that he's a better quarterback than his current ADP from a
Yeah.
fantasy perspective projects. And that's why I kind of feel like I think the Bills probably will win this, but they could win by 3 or 4 points. I feel like a touchdown's a pretty large spread with the question marks in the secondary on the Bills side, and then the new offensive pieces on the Arizona side. But
Yeah, no, I'm starting to lean your way a little bit more. So I'll ride Cards plus 6.5 on that one too, Big D.
hey,
I'm with you. I'm with you. So
made it.
Underdog here has Kyler Murray at 230.5 passing yards and Josh Allen at 248.5 passing yards. Is there anything that you substantially rushing yards are equal 31.5 on each side? That feels like a Kyler Murray higher, just kind of like you said with Achane, like 2 runs, Kyler Murray could put up 31 rushing yards, right?
Yeah. 248 on the passing yards. I'm just trying to think of distribution of the reception yards. What's that look like, right? Like, I mean, you're talking one receiver with 100 or not receiver, sorry, Kincaid, which I mean, I don't think Kincaid's going to get to 100 yards, right? Maybe in the 50s.
Let's see
And
what
then
they
you
have
want to hope
Kincaid.
that Shakir or Coleman
They've
or
got Kincaid
Samuel,
at 50.5.
50 and a half. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So, I don't know. That seems a little high for me for Allen.
You
I
go
think
on
I
the
would be a
lower side
touch.
of
I
the
think I'd be
Allen.
a touch under, but I would like to see, this is going to be a fun game because, one of the things is Ray Davis. I'm a big, and I know J Mike was in the chat earlier. I'm a big Ray Davis fan. I think that he can
Kentucky
take,
stand up.
yeah, I think that he could take some of that goal line carry work. And, if that happens, right, then some of those passing touchdowns and some of the point differential there for Josh Allen and the wide receivers in general and the tight end could be could be. Let's see. James Cook is at 17 and a half pass receiving yards.
Yeah.
I think I'd take the over on that.
You
I
go
feel like,
higher.
yeah, I think I'd go higher than 17 and a half, but I don't know. I guess I mean, it's a good line, it is that, the
Yeah,
robots
I would
that do
almost
this
I
and
like the over or higher than 2.5 receptions and higher than 17.5 receiving yards. I mean, that's how you lose
yeah,
some parlays there,
yeah.
or a submission. But that seems like they're gonna have to at some point turn to getting a couple easy, quick checkdowns. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I think if I was adding it up, I'd go 17 and a half over and then add in, I guess another way to say this is if Josh Allen's going to if he's going to hit that mark, then, I feel like the running game is going to have to contribute to those receiving yards a little bit more than what they're saying there. So,
yeah, I
uh,
agree.
and so
I
I
agree.
that would be a little small stack, I guess you could say, a
We were
short stack,
talking
pancakes.
we were talking off air, looking at this game. Marvin Harrison higher than 5.5 receptions. Seems like, first game out, that's a lower click for me there.
Yeah, yeah. Not targets, receptions, and I
Right.
feel like that's
Correct.
I feel like it's a little. It could be. I think it might be right around 5, but I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, it might be
You know.
8-9 targets.
Yeah, yeah, and he'll catch 5 of those.
Yeah,
Uh, who do you guys think leads the Bills in targets this year? I've been on record early as saying Kincaid. I think Kincaid's the
I
target
agree.
leader. Um,
I
and
agree.
I don't see that changing. Even if Coleman or one of the wide receivers kind of come forward, I feel like just the way that this offense is configured, I feel like that it's going to be heavy tight end usage, and Kincaid's going to have he's going to have his share, and the others are going to be matchup dependent upon each week. So
Yeah. Mitch was talking about James Conner with no Milano there. He's at 65.5 rush and receiving yards.
rush and receiving yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
would take
and
the over on that.
1.5 receptions, the higher is at 0.8 times, and the so that's a little bit lower odds. So they I don't hate the Connor over 60 or higher than 65.5 there.
No, I don't hate that either. Because they have him at 17.5, and I think he'd probably get closer to 25
Yeah.
to 30 if everything's going right for the Bills. And so then you're asking for another 50 yards on the ground, and he is the primary back. Even though I love Ray, it's not he's not. I don't think he's going to steal too many outside of water and some air breaks. I don't think he's going to steal too much from Cook between the 20s. So
Ray Davis rush plus receiving TDs a half. So Ray Davis
yeah.
to score. They got a spicy. Obviously, that's Josh Allen territory where they would assume Ray Davis is going to be in there, but they're giving you 2.83 odds on that. It's a spicy pick there.
If you just look and see what the Bills have been trying to tell us the last couple of years, where they're putting their resources in, who they're trying to bring in. They brought in all kinds of old goal line backs, and I just kind of feel like I would take that. I would take that half, or I would take that touchdown option for Ray because I really think they want to establish a rushing goal line attack that isn't Josh Allen. Um, not to say that he's not going to get his rushing touchdowns. I just don't think that they believe, and I personally also don't believe that that's a winning formula as you continue on. And so I think I wouldn't mind taking a little stab at Ray Davis. Put my
Yeah.
money where my mouth is.
I mean, they're giving you some good odds on that one. So why
Mhm.
not?
As long as it's digital money, I'm not going to put like US currency in my mouth. That's
Yeah.
gross.
um, let's go to Houston and Indy. That's an interesting one.
Okay.
That's divisional battle right off the rip. They got Colts +3 at home. So Texans getting the early love. Colts, home field is usually worth around 3.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this? Are you in a? I know you've been maybe slightly more down on CJ than others. So
hmm
what's your take on this Texans Colts game here?
I would just say I'm nervous about CJ. I think that everyone's already
Crowned him.
crowned him, and he's above. He's just where he's going in drafts, and he's already proven that he's a great player. You listen to him, I've watched a lot of clips on him and some interviews on him, and he's just so. I mean, it's exciting if you're a Texans fan. Don't get me wrong. I just think that it just kind of like baseball. The second time through the rotation, defensive coordinators kind of gear up. If you're the Super Bowl of a team, right? If you're the Texans are division favorites, I believe. So every division opponent is going to give them their best shot, right? And this is at home for the Colts, so I could easily see the Colts making this a game. But honestly, for me, the story is on the defensive side for the Texans. I think they just got it got even better, man. I know that the offensive side of the Texans have increased, but I think the defensive side of the Texans have gotten even better, and they could get to the point where they may carry some of these games for CJ if he does struggle and have a little sophomore slump. So I think I'm Texans minus the points there in the home opener, which is not a smart thing to do. But I believe that's where I would lean, just because I believe that Texans defense. I think that they're going to come out and try to prove it. I believe the Colts are too, but I kind of feel like the Colts are still maybe a stallion away from providing the outside of something on special teams or a funky turnover or a weird bounce on the ball. I think the Texans kind of will have this one, not handedly. I think it's still going to be a good game, but I do think the Texans will be able to pull out a win.
Yeah, I mean, this hinges on Anthony Richardson play.
Yeah.
Colts got a good line. CJ Stroud dealt with a ton of injuries on his offensive line last year, which does kind of give me a little bit of more non-reluctancy to give CJ a little bit more love and say, hey, I don't think this was a Fugazi. Just the fact that he did deal with so many offensive line injuries, different versions of that line, and was still able and capable of getting the job done for most of the year as a rookie, I think is very impressive.
Yeah, massively.
So, I think I feel pretty confident in him. This is a tough division battle to come out and go on the road. I think you gotta lean Texans -3 here. I think I'm with you.
Yeah.
I do, however, Anthony, we haven't gotten a glimpse of Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor together at the same time, and to see what kind of stress that can put on a defense. But can Anthony Richardson do the little things, the easy stuff, and not put this team in a bad position a few times in this game? One time, I think they could probably dodge that adversity, but if it's going to be multiple times where Anthony Richardson's putting you in a difficult position, that's not what you want against a division opponent with presumably a very good roster, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think obviously for the Colts to win this game, it's all about ball control from non-fumbles, but also getting JT going, controlling that ball, keeping Stroud off the field. Pittman, I don't know what's his reception total. I would garner, especially with the late tight end injury, that I would take the over on Pittman's receptions in this game, 5.5. So I think I would go higher on that for sure. I mean, and then JT. I think if I'm leaning on the side of the Colts, if I'm a player that believes in the Colts, then I'm going to probably bet some of these hires, right? I'm going to bet JT was at, what was he at? Can you scroll down just a tad? There we go. 72.5. Ooh, 72.5. That's a good 9. I don't know about 72.5 against this defense, but he's probably going to get just an absolute truckload of carries. So
yeah, I mean, what you would like to see is a bunch of carries from him, keeping the game balanced and keeping it in check, and then really just taking the easy checkdowns from Anthony Richardson, which is something we need to figure out if he's going to do, kind of moving forward. And we only saw 4 games of Anthony Richardson, but JT can be such an easy way to keep bailing yourself out and turn most plays into a positive.
yeah,
and so I think if Steichen is going to keep this team afloat and avoid mistakes, he's got to be hammering in, hey, check this. It's okay to check it down. You don't have to make the throw every time. We've got a great back in JT, who's a good pass catcher. So I'd be interested to see this as a high, 2 on the nose. The 1.5 would be a whole lot more tantalizing. You need 3 here.
right.
But it seems like 3 shouldn't be a problem. They're not, you got AD Mitchell as the, the rookie there. They've been really liking Alec Pierce. A lot of talk from Alec Pierce, but to be seen, right? We haven't seen it from Alec Pierce just yet.
Right.
And then Josh Downs, we don't even know if he's going to play. You said the tight ends, it's probably going to be Granson most likely. But it seems like that higher than 2 receptions there should be if Anthony Richardson wants to stay as mistake free as possible. That would be an area where hopefully the Colts try to hammer into Richardson. Hey, take this check down, take this check down, take this check down. So over 280.5 or higher than 280 and a half passing yards for CJ Stroud. You think that's a higher or a lower on that one?
I'm not sure. I haven't. I don't know Colts defense as much as I know some of the other defenses. I mean, I feel like I think some Baywatch Mitch asked, "How do you guys feel about the Mixon edition?" And I think that kind of plays into this question because I feel like Slowick wants to offensive coordinator for the Texans. Slowick wants to get a little bit more balanced ball. I know that they tried a few different options there, and I know Motor Singletary now that with the Giants,
Right.
he provided some stability there towards the end half of the year. So I think that 280 just feels a little high for week one on the road. I don't know. What do you think there?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. I love the addition of Mixon for them. I think he's a good scheme fit for what they're trying to do. As long as he's healthy and out there, that offensive line is decent as long as it's healthy and out there. And I would assume Mixon's going to come right in and mesh really well with what they're trying to do, and that's just going to add all. They didn't have a great run game until halfway through the season. Some of that dealing with the bad offensive line injuries. They didn't get healthy until midway through the season, and then they were still banged up a little bit here and there. But Mixon, I think, is going to be a big part of this offense and really change the dynamics of things. So I think we could see a heavy dosage of Mixon if this is a little bit more of a slugfest, and they're able to get after CJ Stroud a little bit. But they do have three great receivers and a good tight end. 280 first game of the season. Are they going to come out and try to make a statement with these three wide receivers? But I'll side with you on the lower side of things. They got Joe Mixon at 55.5 yards rushing, higher or lower, 2.5 receptions, his longest rush being 14.5 yards. So
his longest rush being 40, I'd take the under on that. I don't know if he had any 20 plus rushes he had last year, but I guarantee it wasn't that many.
Yeah. So only 14.5 rushing attempts there. That
For
seems
Mixon.
low.
It does seem low, yeah. But I think that's higher. I think that's higher if you're expecting Stroud to have more passing volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the case of in what we just said, how we're viewing this game, I think that I take the higher on that because I think Mixon's going to be a little more involved. I also, even though Anthony Richardson, it's his first game, I think it's going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of excitement. I don't know weapons wise if they have enough to put enough pressure to keep that offense on the Houston side ticking. Does that make sense? Like, I think that they can keep a close game, a ball control game. They could win this game with those kind of things. But I think if we're and this is probably one of those idiot things to say, but I think that if we're talking about a shootout, I don't think Indianapolis is keeping up. So unless Houston, like you said, is coming out to make a statement because it's a division game, and they're just all gas no brakes type of game plan. I just have a feeling some of these numbers are going to be a little lower, and I wish I had a better gauge on Indianapolis's defense. I just don't feel like, just from general knowledge flashing through my brain right this second, I don't really feel like there's enough there that puts fear into me, which leads me to believe that the running game is going to be, is going to be just as important on the Houston side as it is on the Indianapolis side, just to control, get out of the building. Everyone's healthy. Let's go to the next game.
I kind of like this Tank Dell scoring a touchdown higher than half Russian reception TDs.
Yeah.
That's Stroud's guy. You saw it in the preseason in one of those games where he found Dell, and Dell was off to the races. Obviously risky proposition, just betting on touchdowns on any of those things. And it's just, a lot of variance there. 5 catches for Nico, higher or lower, 4 catches for Tank Dell, higher or lower, and 5 catches for Stephon Diggs, higher or lower. I think I would take the lower on Diggs, the higher on Dell, and the I don't know if I would take anything on Nico there.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I would take the touchdown on, what was can you scroll up real quick to the Diggs? And so Diggs was 1.37 on the touchdown. Oh, and Tank is 1.5. So better odds with Tank. I think I might lean Tank then on that one.
Yeah, they like Diggs to score a TD a little more than Dell, and then Nico right around where Diggs is, or right around where right around where Diggs is. So then Michael Pittman having 5.5 receptions there on the day. So
yeah, it's got to be higher if they're going to win.
yeah,
in my opinion,
yeah.
but
all right.
they also don't. The other side of that, right, is Houston. I started this off with saying Houston's defense is reloaded, and they were already decent last year, above decent, I would say. So I do think I'd be gambling on Pittman this week. Another way to say that, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's shoot over to New England, Cincy. Not going to spend a ton of time here. You know, I think this is if I had to make a survivor pick, this would probably be my week 1 pick. You're just trying to survive and advance week 1. Like I said, you don't know a whole lot. You know, a lot of the times people will just pick the biggest spread. Now this is a pretty big spread. It's at 8 right now. But I feel pretty confident that Burrow can go get a W against the Patriots, regardless if Chase is playing or not. That might change how I view the point spread, but in the survivor pool, you're not so worried about the point spread. It's just trying to get the win in week 1 and live to play another day.
Right.
That's kind of how I view this one. Thoughts on Chase fantasy wise playing? What would you do if you're an owner here?
I think he's going to play. What time is this game at?
I think it's a 1:00 game.
So an early game.
No, yeah, you're a West Coast guy. Is that not? I don't know what time they play over there.
10 and 1. So 1:00 East Coast time. I think I would. I believe he's going to play. I think wasn't he at practice today? Or
they said practice today. Yep.
Yeah. So I think he's going to play. I mean, as much as the dude wants money, and I don't blame him. I think he also is passionate about football. So he's not one of the diva wide, and I don't really think there is one right now. But he's not one of the diva wide receivers where I could see him holding out for too long. Get your bag. I'm never going to discount anybody, regardless of if they play football or not, trying to go get some money as long as they're not stealing it. Yeah, I think he's going to play this week, so I'd feel okay setting my lineup. And to be frank, I mean, he's, we play Dynasty, so sometimes teams can get all kinds of crazy. But if we look at this from a redraft or keeper perspective, he's got to be in your lineup for you to have a chance this week, right? In a Dynasty lineup, he may be he's going to be one of your top receivers. That's not what I'm saying, but you may have your wide receiver 3 may be wide receiver 2 caliber, so you might be able to put him in, not have him play and still have a chance to win. And in redraft and keeper, typically he's going to be a high end asset, and you need him to play. So
right. Yeah, no, I'm slightly concerned. We'll see what the reports are week 1. But I kind of tend to lean with you that he's going to go ride with his guys. Also, I'm like, all these other receivers got it in year, the going into that 5th year. And it's like, you're kind of 2 years out here, man. Like I never signed with corporate America or the super rich guy, but it's like, I mean, at some point you do have to put your foot down and be like, we can't set this precedent
Yeah.
The quarterback's one thing to get him done early, and like Devonta Smith got done early, but he also didn't get paid top of the market money, right?
Right.
So it's just a little like, all right, I could see where the brass is coming from a little bit. Hey, Bo, go out there, play ball, and if the rest will take care of itself. We're gonna pay you. Now, if you want to get ahead of it, which they're a pretty cheap franchise, I don't know how much more the wide receiver market's going to go, but all the top ones are kind of paid at this point, so we'll see kind of where it goes. Chris, what is good, my guy? Missed you in the Dynasty draft, but hopefully we'll see you in another one. Is it worth trading Kyler and Olave for Josh Allen and 6 points per touchdown?
No, not to me. It's not. I'm higher on Kyler, as we were talking about the Arizona game earlier. And I think Olave is in quarterback coaching hell right now, but I still believe in the talent. So I think I would hold. If we're talking redraft, maybe, it's hard to do redraft trades, keeper trades. Dynasty, I'm keeping Kyler and Olave over Allen personally.
Yeah. I think I go the other way. It really depends on where my team is, obviously. I think if I'm competing and I got a top level team, I'll take the known Josh Allen side of that thing. But if I'm leaning towards a middle team, need some more assets, the Kyler Olave side's good. I think Kyler can score Josh Allen type points. We've seen him be a top 5 quarterback. So, and Olave's been 1,000-yard receiver since he came into the league here. Jamar Chase or Breece Hall? J. Mike asks.
Go Breece Lightning, go Breece Lightning.
You like Breece?
I like Breece, yeah.
I think I'm leaning Breece too, although every single startup of every single draft is basically always going to lead wide receiver, and I get it. I just think Breece is on that CMC type level. I know Chase is really good. That's a really close one for me. I know kind of where Breece Hall goes, so I don't have to necessarily take him where I would take Jamar Chase in the first round. And sometimes I might, Chase is kind of fallen a little bit, and I think we just did a draft where we got Chase and Breece to start the draft off.
Yeah, I saw a draft where it was Chase dropped all the way to 112, which was insane to me. And I heard somebody else told me that he dropped into the middle of the second round. So yeah, that's just absolutely insane. But I think Breece has proven last year that he can do it with bad stuff in front of him. Sorry, we're live. He could do it with bad stuff in front of him and still be effective. And I never count on injuries, so I'm hoping Rodgers stays upright and feet planted properly and all that good stuff. And I think with an efficient offense and with the Jets, I do agree with you. I think that Breece has the ability to be CMC. And if you asked last year, right, would you rather have CMC or Chase or any of the top receivers? I think everybody would want CMC. And so the upside ceiling play for me is Breece. And then there's the scarcity at the position as far as consistent points out of the running back. I think Breece is a lot more consistent than Chase. Chase is a great top wide receiver, but he does have his games where his floor is a little bit lower than Breece, right? Like that's not to say he's bad. It's not to say he sucks. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that his floor, he could have an amazing game, but he could also have a 7 or 8 point game. And I don't know how often Breece is in that mix if he's healthy. So
yeah. No, I feel you. Last trade question here on the docket. Should I trade CMC for DJ Moore and JT? I already have Saquon. And I don't know. I'm assuming this is Dynasty on all these questions, so I'm just going Dynasty.
For JT? No. You're going to trade away CMC and Moore for JT?
No. Trade away CMC for DJ Moore and JT.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I mean, I think from a dynasty perspective, I definitely like it. I think from a win now perspective, if you already have Saquon, I think I would just roll a CMC and Saquon unless if it's a start 3 wide receiver or you're low on wide receiver, then I don't think DJM is going to have a bad season. I think he's going to have an okay season, but I don't know that I look at his value, and maybe I'm wrong to do this, but I look at his dynasty value as like a mid wide receiver 2 in the long run, right? Not this upcoming year, but in the long run, I think he's like a mid wide receiver 2 range, so say wide receiver 15 to 19, which is great to have on your team. That's, no doubt about it. But just like we were talking about with Breece, I don't think JT's talent-wise is just as good as Breece in my opinion, but his opportunity-wise is not as good. I think that he needs a little bit more there in Indianapolis for things to go right. So
yeah,
I think I would stick with CMC in that case if I'm going for a championship. If I'm rebuilding or if I'm kind of in that middle of the pack where I might adjust mid-season, then maybe I'll go DJ Moore, JT with the idea that I could get out from it. Or if I'm scared CMC will have injury or he's not going to be able to last the whole season or the Niners are going to suck, which one can hope, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So
yeah. I mean, if I'm a CMC owner and I've got a top-notch team, then it's really hard to get rid of him right now because if you're trying to win money, he's a golden ticket. I think JT's value can bounce back this year if he plays a full year with this roster and could be back up into that, late second, mid second kind of pick. Because I do think he's as good as those guys, but I mean that's kind of where I stay. It really just depends on where the team is. If you're on the back end of a team and you're then go ahead and trade down, get some value on with JT, who's a little younger, and get some value on DJ Moore and keep it moving. So he's super nice. I'm just scared he's going to get injured. Yeah, he's played all last year and had a little calf thing and was great. So I wouldn't be terribly worried about it. But if you want to, it's not god awful value to get back for him. Real quick, I wanted to drive by this Vikings Giants game. Giants getting 1.5 at home. But I mostly just wanted to come check this underdog. I wanted to see where Malik Neighbors was at week 1 here and what he was going to be projected for the underdog. What's your initial thoughts here on this game, Big D, as far as point spread and G-Men versus Vikes?
Well, I mean, we do have the comeback player of the year playing in this game, so Mr. Daniel Jones himself. Yeah, what was the line was like 1 point? Is that what you said?
1.5.
I missed that. Yeah, 1.5. Wow. It's a little interesting to me. I feel like I don't know who I'm stumbling because I'm like, does that give, I don't know, I guess maybe part of it is my bias with watching Hard Knocks, the GM one, which honestly I loved. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
That view from the C-suite there for the Giants. But is this all right? One last question: is this in Minnesota or is this
it's in New York,
New Jersey?
New Jersey, correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think the line's all right. I mean, line's not okay. I think the line is. I think I would lean. Man, I think I would lean Minnesota here.
Yeah, I go. I think I lean. I think I go G. I think I want to say G-Men at home, baby.
Yeah, you want to, but I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm shook with the Giants and their.
I mean, if Sam Darnold can competently run this offense, it's probably Vikings. But I think Giants defense is going to be okay.
Is Hutch playing in this one? Is he
who?
injured? Hawkinson, sorry, I almost said Steve
no,
Hutchinson.
He's out. I think until week 5.
He's out till week 5. Okay. You only have Justin Jefferson. Ugh. Oh wait, Addison's there. Just joking. Vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I would go. Yeah. I'm not too thrilled about this game. This will be one that I'll be checking out later on. But
I'm taking G-Men plus 1.5 at home.
Okay, I'll take the opposite side. I'll go the skull. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I'm not in Minnesota, but
5.5 receptions for Malik Neighbors. Higher is spicy, and then 61.5 receiving yards. I kind of might.
5.5. I'm going higher on the 5.5, baby. Yeah, I think he could get 6. Unlike Marvin Harrison, if you look at the weapons and outside of Motor, right? We got all the love for Singletary. But I mean, who else is catching the ball? Waddle, like, what's his two receptions? Oh, okay, 3.5. I mean, I think I'd take the under on Waddle. Slayton's a decent veteran as your kind of as your third, but I think if they want to win the game, I think they want to showcase their Malik's talent. I think he's going to get more than 5.5 receptions.
All right, I just wanted to drive by that one quick. See where they.
Oh, wait a minute. You I don't know what was the yardage. I was
61.5. I went higher.
Oh, you went higher. Okay. All right.
I went higher on that one. All right, let's keep it moving here. Let's look at Tennessee, Chicago.
Tennessee. This is a fun one, man. I'm
Yeah,
excited about this one.
I said earlier in this, I've said all off season, like I got to tune into the Titans week 1, and lo and behold, they're playing the Bears, which I got to see what's up with Caleb. I'll be tuned into this one hot and heavy, 1 o'clock on Fox.
Fudge, yeah, baby. Fudge, yeah. Extra
Bears
topping.
-4. I like the Bears at home -4, I think. This is just based on the defense, right? I just think the Bears were playing at a really good level on defense last year. At the end of the season, they got a great corner in Johnson. They added Sweat, and paid him. I think Eberflus is a good defensive coach. I think Levis and Tennessee. I don't think they'll come out and have a terrible showing, but I think this defense is going to be all that a Will Levis can handle week 1. Right. Obviously Caleb's the rookie.
I think it's going to be a struggle, but I am interested to see how that offense from Tennessee is distributed.
Yeah.
Because I am doing horrible with names tonight, but the team hang on. Let me look at my notes because I did do a Titans review at one point. I'm going to look at something. You keep going. I'll be right back.
So they have Will Levis at 230.5 yards passing. They got Caleb at 245 yards passing. I would probably take lower on both sides of those guys. Maybe that's a bit aggressive. Only 8.5 rush yards for Levis. That seems like it could be a little higher. And then 18.5 for Caleb Williams there. 34 passing attempts for Caleb, 33.5 for Levis. So they're expecting, to chuck it around with the rooks. An interception higher than half an interception at 0.82. I would be okay with going on the higher end of that Will Levis interception total there. He's gonna certainly sling it down and around. He's not scared to throw it deep.
Yeah. So my notes that I found, Callahan's papa as the O-line coach there, following Callahan over, and he's one of the top offensive line coaches. So I think that they can scheme out some of that defensive pressure. I think there's going to be a lot of checkdowns. I know that Holtz is the new OC there, Nick Holtz, and he worked with. I think there's going to be high receiving yards this year for Tennessee. I know that they have 2 A and B running backs, but I definitely think that they brought over veterans from both Jacksonville and from Calvin Ridley coming from Jacksonville and Tyler Boyd coming from Cincinnati. So I think they could handle the pressure. So I guess what I'm saying is I think I would take the over if I was betting the lines on this one. I think it was at 43 or 44. I think Caleb on the other side of the ball, I think that they could put up some points against
45.
45. Oh, 45 is a little higher. If it was 43, 44, I don't know. I still think I would gamble and take the over on that. But Calvin Ridley, I would take the over on the 56.5.
56.5. No catch totals on that.
No.
So they got 56 and a half there. Tony Pollard, only low receiving yards on the running backs here for Tennessee.
I think they've split them up. I think it looks like they have Pollard as the starter and Spears as the scat back.
Yeah, both at 50.5 and 58.5 for Pollard total combined rushing and reception. So those are kind of some fun ones there.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift, 40.5 yards rushing.
That could be one play.
Rome Odunze, 3.5 receptions. I'm going to go lower on that one.
What?
Yeah, I think under 4 receptions is. I think
it makes sense.
First game, Keenan, DJ Moore. I mean, maybe it's just going to be an indictment of how quickly Rome is going to be Caleb's boy. But I love the future for those guys. But when you have 2 guys like Keenan and DJ Moore in front of you, the receptions.
Well, I mean, and also Cole Kmet. I mean, he's no slouch. Right. I think he's going to suck up some of those targets too. So
Yeah.
I was hoping there were some reception totals on Chig. I'm feeling all hot and
Doesn't
spicy
look like it.
with
Not
Chig this
giving you any
year.
love
Yeah,
there. You could check
selling them
back.
biscuits.
Me and Big Co are going to be doing these, not every week, but me and Big Co are going to be putting together some cards that we're actually going to bet on. And this week we're just kind of running through. We might throw one in here at the end or something. But me and Big Co are going to go through these, sometimes on Thursdays and Fridays and put out some underdog shows. If you want to get involved in the action, you can do the best balls. You can do the pick'ems here. It's a lot of fun. Use promo code FFD at checkout and get yourself a nice little bonus match on the on your total on the checkout there, up to $1,000 bonus match there. So be sure to hook your boys up there. But this is a good barometer. Mostly wanted to use it as what we were seeing for week one totals in those games, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to what do you want to do next? We're going to skip Carolina, New Orleans for time's sakes. Let's do Denver, Seattle, since you're a Seahawks gal.
Baby. Yeah.
Obviously, new regime, new everything over there for Seattle. I actually begrudgingly love it.
Yeah, you do.
I love not seeing Pete over there and his stupid Adderall gum chewing. But I love your head coach. I love your OC. I think this defense, Witherspoon, I think is going to have a big year for you guys. I think this defense is just going to come out and be a problem right away. And they get Bo Nix off the rip. So what do you think about this matchup here? 4:00 slate in Seattle. It's going to be rocking -6 for Seattle.
Yeah. I mean, it's Seahawks by 25. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, -6 is a pretty large number, but I think, I mean, if preseason is any indication from a fan's perspective, the last, I would say, half a decade, the fans have been, if it isn't a big game, they've been kind of mute, and Seattle's always been known for rowdy and we up until Russell years, it was mostly defense. There we go. Words are hard. It was mostly defense that we were known for defense. We weren't necessarily known for any offensive prowess whatsoever. And so, and defense is where everyone cheers, right? That's the whole point. That's why, I feel like Indianapolis is in places where you've had a quarterback for a long time. When Manning was there, and that they're not known as the louder stadiums. Well, part of that is because they're offensive focused teams, right? Where a lot of your teams that are known for louder stadiums is because they're defensive focused. And anyways, bringing that back to why I'm rambling on about that is it's been electric. All two preseason games that we're in, and even the scrimmage game, which wasn't even a scrimmage game this year. They really just did a walkthrough in practice, but it was at Lumen Field where the Seahawks play. I mean, it was loud, man. And so I feel like, Bo Nix coming into that environment. He's played up in the Pacific Northwest, being a freaking duck. But I think that is going to be it's going to be one of those things where Denver's going to have to control the ball because there's going to be a lot of emotion coming out of the gate, just like any home team. But it can get away from Denver really fast, and these lines can go nuts. But if they can hold the weather, and Sean Payton's, as much as he's a grumpy, old man on the front porch type of dude, I think that he's not a horrible coach. That some people think he's a horrible coach, and he had Drew Brees, and that's the reason why he was good. But I'm not in that camp. I do think that he can prepare his boys for the environment, and so. But with all that said, I'm still I'll take Seahawks by a touchdown. Yeah, Oh yeah.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I've talked my shit on Peyton recently just because I didn't like how and the way he's gone about his business the last few years. I do think he's a great offensive coach. And I think Bo Nix is going to be a good player to operate his system here, as we've talked about all off season. But I do love, like I said, this Seahawks offense. I love their defense. It pains me to say that, but I do think the Seahawks are going to be right back in the mix here for a while, being a thorn in the side of the NFC West and those old school battles of Niners Seahawks. Where the Seahawks certainly got the best of the Niners for a while when both teams were at their peak. Really had trouble getting over there. Those Bowman Willis era games there. Recently, I feel like we've kind of had your number a little bit, but you guys have been down a little bit. But I like where we're heading.
We've had copy pasta I think we've had copy pasta, copy paste, basically. Same schemes, same plans.
Right.
Like, you knew what was going on. You knew what was going on in the draft. This year is different. And that's part of the reason why I think, earlier on when we were talking about Jacksonville, I talked about Ken Walker and how I feel like he's going to outperform Travis Etienne this year. I still feel that way. I know a lot of people are nervous about Charbs and Charbonnet. But I mean, Grubb's been on record multiple times this offseason, just gushing about the talent of Ken Walker. And when you watch them play, it's just, and Sharps is not a bad player. That's, this is no discount on Sharps, but there's a lot of people who do not like Walker for whatever reason. But man, he's one of those players that I think is going to have a sneaky, really good season, potentially top 6 running back this year.
Yeah. I love Kenny this year. I love the 11 personnel attack, spreading it out a little bit more, just attacking you from a lot of different ways. I think Kenny fits perfectly sort of into that. But we got Geno Smith here at 238.5, 1.5 passing TDs, 9.5 rushing yards. Bo Nix at 200 passing yards, and then 17.5 rush yards. Let's see here. Attempts 31. Attempts 32.5 for Geno. I don't know. I kind of like the higher. We're getting live movement on air here.
Whoa.
Up 202.5 for passing yards on Bo Nix there. So, like I said, I like the higher. That might indicate that maybe a lot of people were on the higher side there. So maybe a little movement there. But let's go down to Kenny Walker real quick. See what was going on there. 65.5 yards rushing, 82.5 combined yards. DK Metcalf going down on the rush receptions there live. 2 receptions, 11.5 fantasy point, or 11.95 fantasy points. This is half point PPR. So if Kenny can get in the end zone, I think that's a whopping higher for him there.
Yeah.
Anything sticking out to you on these Kenny kind of projections?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of half point. I never really played full point, so I was thinking of that 12 line on fantasy points. That's with a rushing and a receiving touchdown. Interesting.
No, this is just telling you the points of how they're scoring the fantasy points.
Oh, yeah. Duh. I'm an idiot. No, I mean, all those lines look relatively decent. I mean, I think that I feel like he could have a 100-yard game. But I don't know if I would, I don't feel that strong about it, I guess you could say. I do think that JSN could be at the 5 mark, 5 to 6 receptions this game, especially if Lockett hasn't played all season or all off season. He's been kind of taking his time with I think he's got a hammy, or can't remember what he has, but I also know that he's 31. And earlier today I sneezed and I threw my back out. So I think that, I think I would take a little higher. I think JSN is going to be more involved in this offense, even with a healthy Lockett. I don't know if at the end of the year we're going to see him as the Seahawks wide receiver 3. I think he's going to be closer to the wide receiver 2. And DK, I think, is going to eat. I think that he's at the point contract wise where he's wants to have a large season. Grubb's Grubb, I think, will be able to utilize DK better. I think everyone looks at DK with his shirt off and thinks he's just this contested catch monster, and I've never felt that way about DK. I think he's a smooth criminal. No, I think he's a smooth, gazelle,
Right.
large gazelle. Like I feel like him in the slot, or like, just taking apart secondaries from not that he has tremendous feet, but he just has tremendous speed and he's been working with, and then this sounds weird, but Bobo, who is on this team, is an undrafted free agent, and he just has some amazing spatial
Hmm.
awareness, I guess you could
Hmm.
say. And he's one of the things they've been talking about is DK has noticed that and has really been working with Bobo. So I think that if he can leverage his body a little bit better, I definitely think DK can be a higher fantasy asset than what he has been in the past. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, you do have to. Who's going to get Patrick Surtain? Just got paid, right?
yeah,
Um, DK could be that guy there. So that could be. I think the smash for me in this one is Javonte Williams higher than 2.5 receptions. Um, I think they're going to need to check it down. They're going to need to get the ball out. They're going to need to do some
yeah,
different things, getting Bo Nix adjusted. I think Javonte Williams higher, and they're giving you 0.89 there. So, a little less than average. So they like that too. But I mean, I think that to me really stood out that I
yeah,
like that play.
yeah. I like that one a lot, actually. That's good eye, eagle eye over there.
Yeah. So yeah, you're going with your boys -6. I think I'll ride with you there.
Yeah, I mean, I think and it's hard being a Seahawks fan and talking up to Seahawks, because I'll be honest, like, and we've had this discussion in the past. Like, I tend to not draft players on my team. Obviously, if value's there, I will, but I tend to stay away from. My thought is if my home team player goes off against me, at least I have a shot to be happy, because that means that the team probably did well, right? Like
Right.
that's always been my fantasy perception on that. But I honestly just think that this offense, I don't know. I'm just so excited to see they've improved their guard play, which was atrocious last year. They do have a right tackle question mark, but I think their line play overall is going to be better, and I think that they could be a top 5 offense in the league. That's
Ooh.
probably a hot take, but I
Yeah.
honestly think that they could be in that discussion as a top 5, top 6 offense.
Yeah. All right, let's go rapid fire through a couple that we missed and just talk about the line and what we think of the game. And then you want to do Commanders, Bucks, or Rams, Lions as outside of the
I think Rams Lions. Let's do Rams. Let's
okay. Well,
let's
let's
touch
just
all the NFC
all right.
since we're in the West.
Panthers, Saints at home. Saints are at home -4.
Um, at home, I think I would take the Saints with the points. I
Steelers, Falcons in Atlanta. Atlanta -3.5.
I'm gonna lean Steelers there.
Yeah, I think everybody's in on the Falcons, and myself included. I think they get that division, but I kind of like the Steelers getting points on the road.
Yeah.
Although the Falcons D has been upgraded and good there. I'm going to take the Panthers +4, even though I think the Saints probably are the play there. How about Raiders Chargers in LA? Chargers -3.
I think I would take, what's the over under on that game real quick?
40.5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the under.
Yeah.
So -3. I think I'll take the Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders.
I think I do like the Raiders getting the points there, but I think Harbaugh and Minter there are going to make it hard on Gardner, and I'll take the Chargers at home getting the first win with Harbs. Commanders Bucks in Tampa -3 Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think I'd take Evans and Baker in that
I'll take
home
the
setting.
yeah
Yeah.
I'll take the defense blitzing heavy on the rookie quarterback, and I'll take the Bucks there. Cowboys, Browns in Cleveland, minus
Ooh.
2.5 Browns.
Woo! I think I'll lean Cowboys there.
I'm taking the Browns, baby.
Yeah,
Give me the
I
Browns
want the
at
Browns to win that one, but from a points perspective, I think I would say it was 2.5 minus 2.5 Browns. The
Mhm.
Browns were favored. Yeah, I think I would take the Cowboys because I think the Cowboys could pull that maybe straight
All right.
up.
We'll do Lambs or Lambs. We'll do Rams, Lions.
Okay.
In Detroit, Lions minus 3.5. What you
I'm
think?
taking the Rams. That would be my upset pick. I think the Rams are better than what people are going to give them credit for, and that's a tough draw for Detroit first game out. I think I'm going to lean Rams there, 3.5. I know that's not the right play, but I think
I
that's
like
where
it.
I'm
I'm
going.
with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think the Rams, you know, I don't know where they're at. They had some O-line injuries, I think, early in camp here. I don't know how healthy the O-line is, but I like Stafford. I like the weapons. I like Kupp and hopefully Puka's as close to 100% as he can be. Whittington looks like he could be an option. Colby Parkinson, one of my favorite later round stabs here.
You love the Seahawks, I know.
So we have some interesting ones. We have 7 receptions for Amon-Ra St. Brown, higher or lower?
Higher, baby, higher.
Higher. We have, let's see what his yardage total, 86.5 TD, 1.3 or 1.13 rather. Gibbs is 79.5 combined rushing receiving. I'm going to go lower on that.
Yeah. I think I'm with you there.
Puka 6 receptions, higher or lower? I'm going to go lower.
Lower. Yep.
Kyron 78.5 rushing receiving combined.
Well, that doesn't include punt yardage, right? Return
No,
yardage?
I don't think so.
I think I'd go lower.
Yeah,
I don't know. That one's a little challenging. I do think I'd go a touch lower though. I think he'd probably be around the 65 mark.
Yeah, I like that combined being higher there, I think. 2.5 receptions. I don't know. Seems a little low.
Where's Monty's touchdown? Where is
Monty's touchdown? You can take Monty's touchdown higher or lower.
Oh yeah. Give it higher. Higher, baby.
6.5 receiving yards seems like that's a one play over.
Yeah.
The one play higher there. Only 1.5 receptions. So they're giving Gibbs 5 receptions here for Laporta. That seems like a lower to me. Monty only at 1.5. I again, didn't grind through all the data to see what the percentage of Monty being over 2 catches is here. This is more of just hey, let's see what's going on these higher and lowers. And like I said, we'll dial it in season. We'll find some that we like and put together some fun shows for you.
I think that Jamison Williams is higher. I think his reception total will be more than 3.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Longest reception higher than 19.5. Yeah, no, I like that one. I like that's going to be a fun matchup. We got a good Sunday night game. We got a good Monday night game. Niners,
the bookends
Jets
are awesome. Yeah.
And then let's do Niners Jets for a second, and then we'll get into the Thursday and the Friday game and get out of here.
Sounds good.
Niners Jets. We got close the app.
Dun, dun, dun.
We got the Jets going to San Fran. Sorry about that. We got the Jets +4, Niners -4 at home Monday night. Actually, kind of like the Jets in this one.
Yeah, me too. I kind of like the Jets with the +4.
I just, this is a really, really good defense for New York, and they've just been, hampered by no offensive play. Saleh and has some ties with LaFleur or with Shanahan, obviously.
Right.
I think Rodgers, the Niners have had Rodgers' number in Green Bay the entire time he was in there for the most part.
Right.
This seems like Rodgers' redemption and Saleh and the Jets all kind of getting on board week one and taking one on the road week one. And I don't think it's not a panic mode then for the Niners for me.
No.
I just think this is a really good defense and they're going to be out to try to get one here. The Niners have had an odd off season. Trent just got back, so that's huge. I'm not too worried about Trent, right? I don't worry about that left tackle who's just a silverback gorilla out there just dominating, right? I think he's going to be just fine. I think you got to worry about a little bit not being around a whole lot here with timing and just, being right. And then, obviously you lost Ricky here for a little while, who maybe you were hoping to lean on and get involved a little early. So I kind of like the Jets in this one.
Yeah. I agree with you. I like not just because it's the Niners. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I think I would probably take an under in this. I don't even know what the under is. I don't have it open, but I would whatever it is. I think
44.
44. Okay, yeah, I think I'll take the under on that, and I think the Jets can keep it within a field goal. Regardless of the over under, I think the Jets can keep it close with that defense, just like you were saying. And their offense should quote unquote be a lot better, a lot more efficient. So, and we just got done for half of this episode, even when it wasn't Brees's turn, talking about how great Brees is. So,
right.
He's a matchup nightmare for any defensive coordinator.
Yeah, 4 receptions, 94.5 combined receiving yards for him. I'm not eagerly clicking a bunch of boxes for Brees. Nothing really jumps out at me here.
No.
But, CMC coming out here, 76, 35, 116 rush receiving combined, 4.5 receptions. So they're he's counting on him getting a lot of work right off the rip there. Garrett Wilson, 5.5 receptions, 67.5 yards. Garrett will give me the Garrett Wilson touchdown.
Yeah.
I think I like that.
I do. I do. I like that as well.
And let's see here. Longest reception. Yeah. 5.5. That could be a good bit. Not a lot of the big positive right now, I think, in Niners camp is secondary play seems to be at the highest level. That they're pretty excited about it, which has typically been a little bit of a bugaboo there. They get Hufanga typically back. They drafted the safety out of Wake Forest, who made a big play in the preseason game, who they like. They're really liking the way this secondary shaping up here. So Debo, 10.5 rush yards.
Wow, I'd take the higher on that.
That seems like bait. I don't know what's going on there. What do they know?
That's an engagement play right there. What's the 1.5 for touchdown for Pickett or Kittle? I mean, yeah, I would take the up just because of Ayuk's struggles. Not struggles, but his lack of timing in that. I think that Kittle could have some more red zone play this year than he's had in years past. So
yeah, you get a reception total on Conklin? I'm going higher on 3.
Yeah, I would too.
They got no weapons right now. I mean, they got Mike Williams, and Brees is going to catch some balls.
Yeah,
I think Conklin's been my favorite kind of sleeper tight end here.
What was his name? Corley, I think, was the rookie they drafted. Yeah, Malachi. But yeah, I don't know how his camp has gone. I haven't.
Mike Williams 3 receptions, Ayuk 4 receptions.
Is there a line on Mike Williams going out this game for the season? Oh.
Finish game.
Yeah, finish game line.
So yeah, both on the Jets there, and interesting. So let's go back to the top. Let's go Baltimore, Kansas City. That's what's kicking off this whole deal.
Thank God. What a game that's going to be, I hope.
What are your thoughts on this one? We got Chiefs at home, -3, defending Super Bowl champs. Lost last year to the Lions opening game.
Yeah, give me the Ravens, baby.
You like the Ravens?
Give me the Ravens with the points. Yeah.
All right.
Mr.
Boy, oh
Lamar.
boy. I want to say the Ravens, but man,
Yeah,
obviously they're missing Hollywood on this opener here. But I just that Chiefs defense, I think, is just really, really good. How do the Ravens respond to losing their DC, who is now the Seahawks coach?
Mm-hmm.
Still a lot of good players over there. They do have Derrick Henry in the run game, which is very interesting. Apparently, they don't want you to click on any of his stuff because it's all great, all grayed out. So they have some new information coming in there. Pat, you can't click on over or higher or lower, 269.5 there. It seems like you should probably take the Chiefs. I'm gonna be rooting for the Ravens there. 220 yards passing for Lamar Jackson, 31.5 passing attempts, 20.5 completions. 42.5 first quarter passing yards. So as the game gets closer, you can obviously get more and more options. On stuff. Mark Andrews coming back, 4.5 receptions there. Anything standing out here? Pacheco, 62.5 yards rushing. Zay Flowers over or a higher or lower, 52.5. Can't click on that for receiving yards, but I kind of like the higher on that one.
Yeah, higher. Yeah.
I also kind of like the higher 4.5 receptions. I think they're going to try to get him going, get the ball in his hands, pick up a couple of cheap ones.
I agree.
Let's see here. Rashee Rice, 5.5 receptions.
I think I'd take the higher on the 62.5 receiving yards.
Receiving yards?
Yeah.
What's that at? Higher, yeah, 62.5. Justice Hill, 15.5 yards rushing. Bateman, 2.5 catches. Xavier Worthy,
3 catches for Bateman.
Xavier Worthy, 3.5 catches. Longest reception, 21. They're going to at least, if they connect with one to Xavier, it's probably going to get you, probably going to be a more than 20-yard completion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bateman last year only had 1 game with 4 receptions. Yeah, he had a lot of games with 3. So
they've been giving him a decent amount of love here. And there's obviously defensive sides of these games as well. As they draw closer, you get Chris Jones sacks, Nick Bolton, Carl Loftus. But
Ooh. Here's some butt liquor.
Kyle Hamilton has had an excellent year last year. So there's just some fun Chief stuffs there. Let's finish off with Green Bay, Philly in Brazil. Spread on this one. Don't wear green, apparently.
I think Eagles, that's been debunked,
tampered down.
I don't know if you're going there. It's really hard to not wear green when you have 2 teams with green in their logo. But
Eagles -2.
Eagles -2 on the road. Well, I guess it's a home game technically, but it's on the road, right?
Yeah. What a jip.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I feel like it would be the Eagles, but I just on a neutral field, I have some question marks on Hurts this year, from a fantasy perspective, just from the rushing perspective, just the Kelsey retiring, change in some schematics, Saquon coming in, I feel like what's his rush receiving touchdown? Half point, Jalen Hurts. Wait, am I reading that right? No. Rushing or receiving touchdown, at least 1?
Right.
Wow. I feel like I'd take the higher on that. I'd take the chili pepper. I'd take the spicy. Yeah, I'd take the spicy on Jalen Hurts getting a rushing touchdown. Even though I was just saying that I think he's going to slow down there, I think they're still going to try those the wedge,
Mm-hmm.
but
The tush push.
the tush push, yeah. So I don't know. I'm leaning probably Green Bay on the what was it, 3.5? You said
2.
oh 2. Never mind. I think I'm leaning Philly. Yeah, I'll take Philly with 2.
Yeah, I'll
If it was
take
three
Philly
and a
with
half, I'd go
2.
Jordan. I would
I'll
go
take
Jordan
Philly
Love.
with 2 with Saquon being the difference in this game. I
Yeah,
think just having a monster run game between Jaylen and Hurt and Barkley and a new offense where you have actual motion, where the Eagles were near the bottom of the league in motion last year. You get Kellen Moore coming over here. You're going to see a lot more movement pre-snap,
mm-hmm.
a lot more, you know, less predictability of kind of what they're doing. And I like Kellen. I know he's gotten a bad rap here on the last stop, but I think that was a lot more to do with the head coach than him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think this is a really good fit. I like Devonta Smith a lot this year. Then they added Dotson, which, I know a lot of people are quit guys because they aren't awesome, immediately and the best receiver in the league. But Dotson had a decent rookie year. I think it was a bad situation for him last year, and for the Eagles to have Dotson as their third now all of a sudden, I think that's awesome for them, man.
Dangerous.
And then you get
That's
you still
dangerous.
have Goddard, right? Who's been a very good player, just been banged up for you. So I think the Eagles try to reestablish themselves a little bit. We maybe see this defense kind of come back around. I did see they were missing Devin White, which the linebacker play was a big problem with the Eagles last year.
Yeah,
So Devin White was hopefully going to be maybe an answer for them. He's missing, but we'll see where Jalen Carter is year 2. So I'm going to go Philly here. Of just the hey, we've been here, done that, been a good team for a while.
mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm taking the over on the passing yards for Jalen Hurts, just because of Saquon. I think that he
okay.
can get some cheap. I think there can be some cheap reception yards there. And like you just talked about Kellen Moore, I think they like to spread it out. I think that's the reason why they brought Dotson in. So I think they're going to pass. They're going to be a little bit more pass centric, pass focused,
Mm-hmm.
and can get some good chunkiness going on there. So I think I would take the over on the receiving. On the passing yards.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what Saquon totals are. We got 15.5 rush yards or receiving yards. Sorry, rather. That seems like a higher to me. 15.5 rushing attempts, 2.5 receptions.
Yeah, that seems higher. Both the receiving and the receptions seem higher to me.
And maybe we're overrating it a little bit because of Jalen Hurts' ability to take off, and they do have a bunch of options to spread it out to. But I feel like they're going to be trying to get Saquon going early and often here.
Yeah, I think they're going to limit Hurts running a little bit more,
I
just
hope
like we were
so. That's
talking
why you
about
brought this
Allen.
guy in, right?
Yeah, well, like we were just talking about Allen, and then bringing in Ray Davis and bringing in a different culture at the OC position. I feel like they're also going to do that here in Philly. I think Kellen Moore, and Dak, by the time Kellen Moore was there in Dallas, Dak didn't have the wheels that he did when he was younger, but he still had some scramble ability. But I think that his passing prowess increased with Kellen Moore, and that's what I think is going to happen to Hurts. Hurts is a smart dude, and I just kind of feel like, the check down to Barkley will be a play. The forgotten man Goddard is still around. That dude's, he's going to find some soft zone coverage just because of those 3 wide receiver sets that they'll be putting out there. So
Trying to find Goddard. He must be down lower.
he's forgotten, dude. I don't even have him up here. They're like, oh, wait, who? Oh yeah, Goddard plays.
There we go. 4
4
receptions for Goddard.
That seems a little high to me.
No, they got targets on here. 5.5 targets. I like that.
Oh yeah.
That's the first time I've seen targets. But I put Saquon on the chart for scoring a rush or receiving TD.
Yeah, baby.
Feels like, I'll play the odds on him catching one or running one in. I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts could run one in as well.
Yeah.
And that's the risk there, right?
Right.
Josh Jacobs, 63.5 yards rushing. Only 2.5 receptions for him too.
Wow. That seems low too.
Yeah. Again,
considering for Josh Jacobs, I mean, AJ Dillon's out.
Right. Marshawn Lloyd's hurt.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Wilson's going to be your primary 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Little running back tango going on there.
Yeah.
That would be a fun little parlay.
A little higher reception.
I think so.
All right. You got anything else for us, Big D? Devonta Smith, 4.5 receptions, 60 yards, 2.5. Let's see here. AJ Brown, 71.5 receiving yards, 9 targets. Longest reception, 23.5. Anything else really standing out to you?
What's the line on Dotson? Is he?
Yeah, he was down there. Let's see here.
I think he's brought in, and maybe I'm wrong. But
they only have a TD on him. No, nothing else.
No, I don't think I would take that. But I would like to see what his longest play will be, because I feel like he's gonna do some field stretching. He's gonna be part of the calisthenic Olympics. There, getting some runs in. So
3.5 receptions lower for Jaden Reed or higher. It was a little 5 targets. That seems like a higher for Jaden Reed. Maybe getting a couple like quick things in to manufacture some touches for him.
Yeah.
All right, Big D. You got anything else for us before we get out of here?
No, man. I'm excited about tomorrow. Let's get one rocking game in, and then you said Friday. Is there a game Friday? Did I miss that?
Eagles. Eagles Pack Friday.
Oh, okay.
Only on Peacock. So
son of a biscuit. All right. Good to know. Good to know. The Peacock is back.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's exciting, because then now wife's around the country are going to be upset, because now you've got Thursday night football, Friday night football, or Friday football, Saturday is college.
Football. Oh yeah,
coming back, Sunday, Monday. But I love it. Yeah, let's go. I'm excited. I'm hoping for some higher scoring this season in general. Like I feel like we've ticked down the last couple seasons, which is weird considering we have the extra game, and maybe that's part of it. But I'm also looking forward to the new kickoff rule, just to see how the different teams approach that, the different mindsets, come into play. I'm just excited for it to actually count again, and us to have content. Have content to talk
I'm ready
about
to get rolling on what's happening, baby.
I'm tired of the what ifs. Let's go to the what's happening. So
that's right. All right. Well, be sure to come check us out. Be lock and loaded. Hit that subscribe button. We got all sorts of fun stuff coming your way. We're gonna be doing live streams on Monday. We're gonna do Sunday Patreon only live streams as well after the games for about an hour, 9 to 10 Eastern.
Yep.
And then Austin and I are going to be hitting some college football eligible, keeping track of those guys all season. So we got a lot of fun stuff for you. We may try to dabble in some redraft action. We shall see.
But you never know.
Keep it locked and loaded with your boys over at the FFD.
Thanks for everybody who hopped in the chat. For this and in the future, a free Discord going. We got the Discord rocking. We just created for the Patreon. Actually, I think it's open to everybody. You just talked about you and Austin's college stuff. We're going to start tracking some of those college players in a tracked individual comment section for each player, so we can understand what their games are and see what their see what week one was like, and be able to look back on them pretty easy. There's some other great channels there in the Discord. If you're a Patreon subscriber and you haven't, for whatever reason, taken bite the bullet to have one more app on your phone, just do it, man. It's worth it. It's a good time. We've got some smart, incredible people there, and then there's Casey and I as well. So
yeah, that's right. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time. We're excited. Next time you talk to us, there'll be live football going and live bullets, and we're excited to keep it keep you covered all in season long.
Hey,
And all the moves to make and buys and sells and holds and all the
the waiver
hoopla.
wire. Yeah, yeah.
All right, y'all. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.